All right, guys, what is going on? Coach Jordan here from the Angry Nutrition Guy. Got San Francisco in the background. Let's light up this screen. So, what is going on in this training today? I want to help you guys really understand how to look at what your calories are and what they need to be, not only to lose weight, but to maintain your weight. And so, you're all in the app and you've been using it with a lot of success, which is great. And now you're advancing to that PhD level stage of sharpening the saw of how do I go in my brain when I meet someone new and say, okay, what is their kind of baseline, right? What is their TEDI or their TDEE, their total daily energy expenditure? And based off that, how do we create a framework so that we're able to get to our maintenance calories first to get to our deficit numbers and then have macros from there? So, my clients that I'm speaking to in this video, and you know this video was coming, your maintenance predicted calories before we started was around 1800 to 1850. So we're going to take around 1800 as a starting point. So I don't know exactly what you were doing before we started our journey and got all the success, right? I mean, you told me high level, you were eating, but what we know is that your protein was too low, your fat was too high, and your portions were weird, right? So we had to fix that off the get-go. We had to bring the fat down, the lean protein up, and get the portions right and the calories right. Calories and protein are really, really important. So if your maintenance was around 1800 prior, right? That was our starting point. We can't eat 1800 or we maintain. We don't want to maintain, we want to lose. So what do? We have to start by putting ourselves in a deep caloric deficit. What's a calorie deficit? You're burning more calories than you're taking in, right? So your body is forced to use fat reserves as fuel, right? That's how fat loss works. So to lose a pound of body fat over 7 days, we need to be in a 3,500 calorie deficit over 7 days, about a 500 calorie deficit per day or so. So if you are maintaining around 18, now you might say 18. I wasn't eating 18. You might have been eating 2,000 on the weekend, 1,500 during the week. Macros were all over the place, right? So we know it wasn't exactly 18, but the weekly net was around that number. So we can't be eating 18 on the 7 day average. We're not going to lose because the whole game in fat loss is to lose. We'll talk about maintenance later. So we got to put ourselves in deficits. We take that 1,800 and we go, okay, what's about 20% off of 1,800? So I take that 1,800 and I can times by 0.80. That would do it. Or I could do it the other way and take 20% and then do the math on that. But easier to say 1,800 times, right? 0.80, that would give me 80% of 1,800 or putting me in a 20% calorie deficit, which is enough to lose over a pound of fat loss per week. So that's about 1440. And if you go back to your first week menu, you're going to notice that your calories are around that 1415, 1440. We're in that neighborhood. So we're in a deficit, pretty sizable, almost 400 calories per day. Now you might say, yeah, but you said that we have to be in a 500 calorie deficit per day to lose a pound of fat. We do, but remember, we're eating in a certain manner, we have a higher thermic effect of food. If we're eating more protein and more fiber, we're going to get a high burn rate. And if we're drinking enough water. So on the water thing, every every 30 ounces of water that we drink, we burn an additional 50 calories a day. So that doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're drinking even 90 ounces, and I know I give you more than that, but that would be an additional 150 calories you would be burning per day, right? 50, 50, 50 times seven, that's 1,050 you'd be burning per day. So we add that to that deficit of the food, we're already over a pound of fat loss, right? A pound of pure fat. We can lose more weight in a week, but of pure body fat. And fat takes up a lot of surface area. So losing at least a pound of fat per week is huge. The scale is going to go down more than a pound doing that. Sodium, glycogen, sugar, food volume in your gut, but fat loss, that's a big deal of a dent. That's a big deficit. And then remember, it's not just calories in, calories out. Calories in affects calories out. So by eating enough protein and fiber, protein has a thermic effect of 30% and fiber has a thermic effect of 25%. We're going to be influencing energy out from what we're eating. So we're burning a few hundred calories more per day from eating the right balance of things. So all that with the deficit created almost 400 per day just off the get-go, the water, and the protein and fiber combination of that thermic effect of food, we're going to be burning way over 3,500 calories over 7 days, which is Nice. And which is cool. And so then we go, all right, back to the food. We've got this 1415, 1440 neighborhood. Now we want to start to reverse engineer and go, what do we need to figure out first? Well, the first things first, what we need to figure out is after the calories, how much protein, because protein is based off body weight, carbs and fats are not. So we want to do it around zero point 0.7 to zero point 0.9 grams of protein per pound of your ideal or goal weight. If you're at your goal or ideal, it's zero point 0.7 to zero point 0.9 grams of protein per pound of your total body weight. And so that's why I gave you around 120 to 125-ish grams of protein per day, because it's based off you and based on your goals. Okay. And so now that you're getting closer to maintenance, you'll still be in that neighborhood of 120 to 125. Is it bad if you go to 130? No. As long as our calories are staying within the neighborhood or less, but not too much more, your protein can go up a tick. We don't want it to go way lower. What's the safe zone for protein? Let's say you had a really rough day. As far as like you're running around, you couldn't get your protein in as much. What's like the safeguard for you? 100 grams of protein is a safeguard to know you're eating enough protein to still stay within the safe realm. Obviously, our goal was like 120 to 130, but we're still safe, right? And then we can break up our protein throughout the day. So first, we figure out protein based off body weight. Secondly, we figure out our fat, because fat is also kind of based off body weight for hormone support, skin, hair, nails, testosterone for men, estradiol for women. So we want around zero point 0.3 grams of fat per pound of weight. So you take your weight, right? You take, whatever it is now, 130 times zero point 0.3, and you'll get the total grams of fat. So once you have your fat and your protein taken care of, you can do the rest. And now remember, the remainder is going to be carbs. It doesn't mean carbs are not important. It just means that they are whatever is left. So we figure out protein first, fat second, and then then carbs last. So protein, fat, and then carbs. So we reverse engineer this to get the calories from each item. So if we're working with 14, 15 calories in let's say first week of fat loss, and we're in that neighborhood, well, we take each gram times a certain number. So we know that protein and carbs are 4 calories a gram. You've learned that, and fat is 9 calories per gram. So if we're eating 120 grams of protein a day, we times it by 4 to give us the protein amount, right? So I'll just do that math for you so you don't have to. If I'm giving you 120, we're keeping the math a little bit simple, 120 grams of protein times 4, that's 480 calories coming from protein, right? So 480 from protein. Then fat. Okay, so if I'm giving you 40 grams of fat a day times 9, because fat is 9 calories a gram, that's 360. So we have 480 plus 360 is 840. Now, 840 is our calories from protein and fat. Well, what's left? Carbohydrates. Again, we got a lot of carbs to play with, don't we? Yes, we do. So we have 840 calories that we've spent on fat and protein. So if we knew we were eating 1415 calories, I take 1415 minus 840, and my remainder is 575. And 575 is what? Carbs. Now we know that carbs are also 4 calories a gram. So I take that 575 divided by 4, and that gives me 143. That means what? My macros of the 1415 are 120 grams of protein, 40 grams of fat, and 143 grams of carbs. And if I reverse engineer that and I times the protein by 4 and the fat times 4 and the protein and the carbs by 4 and the fat by 9, 449, 449, 449, that'll equal 1415 calories. Boom. So that's how I reverse engineer it. So we figure that out. And then we have to figure out what? Well, how do we build the menu based off of those numbers and equally distribute our food throughout the day and not put all of our calories towards snacks and all that good stuff, right? Okay, so I'm going to go I've shared my screen the whole time. So I'm in my plan. Today is 6/16, June 6th. So I know what I'm working with, right? I know my macros, and I can be a few grams in either direction, right? It's okay. 120 protein if I'm 125, fine. 40 grams of fat if I'm 42 or 43 grams, or a little bit less, a little bit more, fine. Carbs, same thing. 143 is my goal. If I'm at 147, no big deal. If I'm at 138, no big deal. Okay, so I'm going to build my day, right? All right, let's do it. So I'm going to build things I like and things you might like too. So I've got, let's see, this actually is what I had this morning. So I'm going to work with those calories and amount. This is not my amount. This is your amount that you were eating. So I'm going to add this in and I'm going to click that I ate it. So look, 274 calories made up of 27 grams of protein, 6 grams of fat, and 32 grams of carbs. So I got a lot left to play with, but that was my breakfast. And then what I like to do from here is I like to go dinner. So I'll choose either I'll put breakfast in first or I'll do dinner first. But if I'm going to do dinner next and then I'm going to fill the rest, I'm going to reverse engineer up the rest because we want to take care of our breakfast, lunch, and dinner first before the snacks because the majority of our calories, about 75 to 80%, should come from our main meals, right? As Jalen Hurts says, Eagles quarterback, keep the main thing the main thing. Why do we not want to do snacks first? Because then we might use too many calories for snacks. And our main meals are where we want to put the majority of our stuff, right? Okay. So I'm going to go dinner. And then I'm have some new salmon dishes in here. So I'm gonna do it's fish. Yeah, there was a new salmon dish I was gonna make tonight. Maybe. Let's see. Oh, what do I have ingredients for tonight? I'll actually do the salmon fried rice. That'll be good. So I'm gonna add that to the meal. Oh, I'm gonna add do oh, okay. So I'm gonna go back to my plan. Let's try this again. Salmon fried rice. Oh, I had to actually click it. There we go. I don't want it for breakfast. Let's get rid of that. Look, I'm showing you guys stuff in real time. This is good. So let's go back to dinner. And I'm going to type in salmon because you don't want it to go in the wrong. It was all for viewing purposes. There we go, right? I have it for dinner and I have my breakfast. Now I can see what I've spent for the day. So I got a lot still. I got about half my calories left to play with. I've had 60 grams of protein here, 27 fat, 65 carbs. So as you know, fats, we only have about 40. So we're going to run out soon. So we want to be careful at lunch and not put too much in our lunch or snacks. Really good on protein, got more to go, about half my protein done, carbs about halfway through. So that's perfect. And then now I'm going to go to lunch, keeping it light. I typically like to have a wrap or a salad. I'm going to do chicken Caesar wrap. I'm going to click that I ate it. Awesome. So now the more you do this, the easier this will get. I'm doing it fast because I know, but you're mastering too. So calories, 1025, perfect. I still got room for snacks. 94 grams of protein, almost at the safe zone of 100, 36 grams of fat. So that means my snacks can't be very high fat, right? Because my fat is only 40 for the day. So I only have 4 grams left. Now, if I'm a little over, that's fine. But really, what this means here is that my snacks, because of what I have left, right? What I have left is basically, almost 30 grams of protein, 25 grams of protein or so, and a good amount of carbs. I've got, 40 grams of carbs, almost 30 grams of protein, and like 5 grams of fat. So doesn't always play out that way, but sometimes it does. And that's why reverse engineering this way really helps. So in my snacks, I'm thinking protein and I'm thinking carbs. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to do something with yogurt and fruit because that's going to give me protein and carbs. So I'm going to do this. Yogurt and strawberries. See where I'm at. All right. So I'm probably getting pretty satiated on as a smaller person at this point, but my protein's almost there. I still have a few grams of fat to go and I have carbs to go. So I got more room for a treat or two. So let's see what I want to have. Maybe I want to have a Yasso bar. Let's do that. I'm going to click that I ate it. And 13, 14, protein's still solid, a couple grams over. I'm still under by fat by 1, and I still got some carbs to play with. So really, really what I have, protein's basically done, fat's basically done, carbs are left, right? And calories are left. So I have what? 100 calories left. 13, 14, I said 14, 15. So about 100 calories left. That's cool. So I could do like an apple, right? I could do like an apple. So I could do that. I could do a good bit of fruit here. So what I could do is apple. And also, because I bet you what else? I got more room, right? So I still got calories. I'm gonna do some rice cakes. I might put on my yogurt and fruit. Caramel rice cakes, 2 of them. Let's see. And again, you'll get faster at this the more you do it. Wow, look at this. Okay, so I'm a little bit over on the calories by what? We said 14, 15. So I'm a little bit over by like what? Not even 50, 45 calories because of the two rice cakes. So really all I need to do is I could remove like one of the rice cakes and that would bring the calories down, the carbs down a little bit to get closer to my total. So the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to delete, right? And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to do it again, but I'm just going to do one. Now I'm going to click it and stick it. What? Would you look at this? This is unbelievable. What did we say? 14, 15 calories. It's 1 calorie over. Protein, we said like 120, 125. Boom. Fats, we said about 40, 39. And carbs, we said what? 140, 142. We're right there. So this is a perfect day of eating. It's as close as you're going to get to perfect. And look at my day. I mean, I'm a grown man, a larger male, and this would satisfy me. I got my breakfast pizza, I got my apple, I got my rice cake, I got my yogurt strawberries, I got my chicken Caesar wrap, I got my Yassa bar, and I got dinner. So that is a great way to do it. And if I was, in a higher calorie maintenance, as I talked to some of you guys will be, I could just add more to this. I could add another rice cake. I could add more yogurt. I could add another wrap, even if I wanted to. I could add more rice in my fried rice. So I have options there to add, but this is really clean in a day and very consistent with what we're trying to achieve. So that's how you come up with the calories and the macros as well. You take that deficit. That's what really this training was about. But I wanted to show you off of those numbers how to build your own day. I hope this helps. Let's keep crushing our goals. I'll talk to you guys soon. Let's do this.